Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. We in 2024. Let us be grateful. Let us thank the great Almighty. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. We in 2024. Let us be grateful. Let us thank great Almighty. Sisters, welcome. Yes, that's when the technology overwhelm you, the little novice on target. So yes, welcome. And we hope that this year we approach and embrace 2024 with confidence, with love, with joy, peace, hope, prosperity. Never forget the orphans and the widows among you. Remember, that was one of Jesus Christ's one of the difference with Christ, the orphans and the widows. Society used to treat the orphans very badly and widows very badly. The vagrants in our street, who the vagrants in Grenada belongs to? Ask yourself this question. Take the mirror. Put it in front of your beautiful face. And ask yourself, the vagrants on the street in St. Patrick's, in Gove, in St. Mark's, in St. David's, in St. George's, in Carriacou, in Grenville, who they belongs to? They're from England? They're from Europe or China? Whose children are they? It is your children, it is your relatives. How come they run away from your homes? Are you too insensitive? More and more we see an increasing number of vagrants on the street. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best for the new year. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. Long life, health, and strength.
Thank you.
Yes, for we to continue as usual. So all the best for the season.
Thank you very much, brother.
All right, Mr.
Highly appreciate it.
Yes.
So we must ask ourselves, whose vagrants it is? The people who are involved in pre-deal larceny in your community, you know the majority of people who involved in pre-deal larceny in your community, particularly those who go and snatch the thing from the land. Some of them sell it to buyers and farmers and market vendors. But those who go and do the dirty work, whose children are they? Many of them are on substance abuse, coke, excessive use of alcohol. Whose children they are? Ask yourself, what could I do to help these people? Remember, they are not imported, you know. Some of the vagrants on the street investigate quietly what happened to them. Some of them lost their mothers early. We have a lot of women with children that the mothers and the fathers had difficulties. And as a result of that, the children are left with the mothers alone as the primary parent. So the male is not involved completely. He may be paying money in the court. He may be giving the mother money. Or they have some very disturbing relationship, tumultuous relationship. Find out about it. What happened to these children? So now it's difficult for the mothers. Mothers have 2 or 3 children, 4. In yesteryear, women used to make 9 and 10 and 12 and 16 children. But they maybe have two to 5, 6 children, sometimes for different fathers. Sometimes the father that we know that is a good man for them is not good for the children. The father only care about the 2 children that he have with the woman. He don't care about the other 3. And the woman constantly fighting a balancing act to settle disputes between she man and she children. She can't give up on none of them. But the man doesn't recognize that when you have a relationship with a woman that has children already, you should embrace her children. So you have all sorts of issues. Remember, a lot of these people don't do psychology and humanities. They don't have a PhD or a master's degree. And the manner in which they address challenges might be more tumultuous. What do we do? Do we interfere? Should we not interfere? Do we say it's not our business? They are in the neighborhood. You are the next door neighbor. But you're doing well. You have good pay. Your income is over $3,000 a month. You have a car. You have a home. You could eat lamb, jam, and ham any time of the year. And while you're roasting your bacon, it's your bacon. You work hard for it. It's yours. But the neighbor's smelling it. The woman next door with the children, she's smelling your bacon. And she is giving her child stew, wine, and sun sauce. Is it your business? Do you interfere? When does it become your business? When the child would be described as the Minister of Agriculture said, lunatics and idiot. When they are involved in pre-deal larceny. What's about the child next door who cannot go to school or who did not go to school because the mother did not have the money to pay transportation for her or him this week? So the mother said, don't go to school this week. You'll go next week. Sometimes the mother did not have a secondary school or tertiary education for herself. So the child is home this week because the mother looking for money to pay transportation for him to go to school. Is it your business? Do you care? We speak so much about love. As we start this morning, we talk about confidence and love and joy and peace and hope and prosperity. Those words so easy to come out of our mouth. More education we have, better we could sing out these words. But what does it mean? What does love mean? Have you ever thought about it? How do you practicalize love? What does love mean from a man to a woman? What does love mean when a woman says she loves the man? What does love mean when you say you love your child? What does love mean when the child loves you? Have we ever thought about these things? Did we sit down in our house and discuss with our children what love means? I have never done it. But do we do it? Is it important that the man understand what love means? Does love mean giving flowers and chocolate? Oh yes, we have Valentine and we encourage people to show love. But does love mean only giving Valentine and during Valentine time? Giving chocolate? Taking the woman out? or taking the other man being. What does love mean? How we practicalize it? What does it mean when a politician say they love you? What does it mean by that? Because politicians speak about love every day. Does this love mean that you love the people who could give you support? Does it mean that you love rich people? Does it mean that you love people who in the high end of the scale and people who in the lower socioeconomic strata, you see them as a burden? What does love mean? Does pastors and men of the cloth explain to the congregation what love means? Is it love for the woman to leave her children home uncared for and go and sit down in the church in the night? Is it love for the man to abandon his woman? What does love mean? I believe that we must have some discussion about that. So if you meet a little child, 5, 6 years, and ask the child, what does love mean to you? The child could answer. Try it. When you go and ask your man, when you say you love me, what do you mean? Ask your man when you go home. Because the Bible says a man should love a woman as he loves himself. The Bible never says woman are to love man. A man should love a woman as he loves himself. A man should provide and protect his family. Do we get young men to sit down and discuss this issue? Does love mean deflowering? What does it mean? If you're a Muslim and you end up going in heaven or the Muslim version paradise, you have an opportunity to deflower maidens repeatedly. You might have an erection that can't go down. And it's real love in paradise. Because you could deflower and deflower and deflower. Is that love for the woman? What does love mean? Maybe if we understand these things, we might be more sensitive to the challenges that we have. When we see the amount of vagrants on the street, the Father Mulligan home, the amount of young males, the homes for the aged, Grenada has more homes for the aged than any other place in the Caribbean. And some social workers ask why that should be. Grenada have more landowners than any other place in the Caribbean. I would not surprise if we have more vehicles than any other country in the Caribbean. We have a better network of roads than perhaps any country in the Caribbean. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet is of a higher standard and better available than any other country in the Caribbean. So why should we have more home for the aged than any other country in the Caribbean? We must ask ourselves that. Why is it, if we have all these positives, is Grenadians insensitive? Are we growing more and more insensitive to the elders in our society? Yes, they're in the departure lounge. But are we hustling them in the departure lounge? Over the last couple of years, I've known a number of instances when elderly people were taken seriously advantage of. People 80 years working the land were stoned. We have an incident in St. Patrick's here Man over 80 years chopped up in his land. I managed to have discussion with him. He said the saddest thing for him, he believed the police and all abandoned it. Are we a people that is getting extremely insensitive to our elderly people? Does it reach a point where we don't care about the elderly people? Over the last just under 2 years with the new government coming, you hear us constantly speak about people who have been disadvantaged in the seed program. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Yes, my brother, thank you.
Yeah, and hope that we best through this year. I would like the government to give a massive raise in cocoa and nutmeg. Just as how they take the massive raise, I want to give a massive raise. I have a neighbor, he says he cut him back on days to see work already, so and I all in the game. She cut him back on days. So what I'm saying is give a massive raise. Just as how they take the massive raise, give a massive raise, so maybe go balance back there. Take him up there.
Yes, and that caller, we're going to discuss this issue about cocoa and nutmeg. The present price of cocoa and nutmeg. And cocoa and nutmeg farmers are facing a reality that they would have to start to pay their workers $60 a day or $12 an hour. $12,560. And that might be frightening for some cocoa farmers, particularly those that do not have estate, or they don't have very many workers and they don't have the management level. And the government has raised that minimum raise. But the price of nutmeg, I don't know if it dropped or if there is talk about dropping. And cocoa is the next case for the crown. The Cocoa Association seems not to get their act together. So I understand these farmers cry. I'm a cocoa and nutmeg producer too. Kind of get fed up with both of them. So I don't bother much. These crop is not part of my main source of income. So I don't bother much. But that definitely is an issue, and we can welcome other contributions on it. I know Cultureman like to talk about cocoa and nutmeg. I don't know if Cultureman, you interested in having a raise too on that. The government has taken some massive raise for themselves. The government has raised their salary by over 100%. So obviously, and they've raised minimum raise. So you will have to have raise in supermarkets and etc. and other workplaces. So the farmer themselves is asking about the price. Well, government didn't talk about that. The government has not been making any issue about productivity. The government seems to be swimming in excesses, financial excesses in the country. They're swimming in it. One hope that this financial excess continue for 2024 and 2025. The government is convinced that no problem. The CBI program is doing well and they're making a lot of money from it. They raise the taxes on vehicles. I understand property tax would go up so too. So the government raised the tax on water. They raised the tax on sugar and sugary products. So the government is collecting a lot of money. When you listen to one of the senior ministers, so they don't have a problem. So I can understand the concern of the farmers. Farmers have to be more innovative. I don't think farmers should panic. Farmers maybe should sit down with their workers. The government said $12 an hour. and try to get more productivity. The first thing you have to do is to sit down with the workers and make sure you get the level of productivity. Establishment like Kenco and big establishment would not have much of a problem. The management system might ensure that they get the level of productivity. Other farmers who do not have the management level, then you have to have more discussion and try to get productivity. Don't just abandon the land. Don't do that. Don't fire the worker. Don't do that. Work with the worker and see how you could draw out productivity for it. Maybe the worker might be happier and you might get more productivity. In a lot of instances, the farmers is already paying that amount of money. They might be paying $40, $50 for 2 hours work. So now they have to see if I'm paying $60, if I can get 5 or 4 hours work from it. And it may work out. Let us be hopeful. Let us give it a try. Let us genuinely engage our workers and give it a try. The workers too may be very understanding and understand your productivity level. And nothing is wrong in discussing the quantity of cocoa or the quantity of nutmeg or whatever job they do. Nothing is wrong in sitting down and discuss it with them so they know you're not tricking them. There's a lot of mistrust between employers and employees. People see the employers as wicked, not helping nobody. You find so much negative comments from workers that to a lot of employers, it is heartbreaking. And perhaps what we need is more communication. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Afternoon. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. Mr. Pierre, no, I was mentioned that I was looking at that just now I was talking about that. Okay, like you have a piece of bush by your that's on the phone. No, hello, you know. Yeah, Mr. Pierre. You have a piece. Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead. We hear you. We hear everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you have a piece of bush by you to cut. You hire a man to come and cut it for you. He might spend about 3 hours. You say, well, I'll pay him, I'll give him $60. I'll give him $50. Okay? But now, where you have the minimum wage now, and say $12 an hour, you see what happened to $12 hour by 3, that's $6. So you come to that worker now losing. Alright? So for he to get a $60, he had to work an extra, if it's say 5 hours, 2 hours. He had to work an extra 2 hours, which is 5 hours for that $60. So you see, more hours that man that worker had to work for that $60. Right? So well, you see, it will be a good for the employer if you work 3 hours and if it's $12, you get $25, which is our $14 saved back in his hand. You understand? So before time though, when that man come and work, if they say to me, he work 3 hours, I'll give him $50 or $60. Right now, the person that come and work and say, no, by $36, I can work for that money. Well, that's what somebody work for 3 hours a day. Right?
Caller, you remember in yesteryear we had tasks and we had days work.
Days work, yeah.
So the employer used to give you a task and they give you a job. So I don't think the government, so if you know the guy was doing the work in 3 hours, but you was satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he could take 5 hours and do less work.
Yeah.
So a lot of communication have to be there. I don't think the government was very thorough in discussing the issue, but it boils down to the employer and employee.
Yeah, because that means more hours stay on your job. I mean, you will do more work. Yeah.
Because in yesteryear, you had 7 square for cutlassing, 7 for woman and 8 for man.
If I may.
And you had a specific amount of cocoa to pick for your day work.
Yeah.
And that was a specific job. So whether you had to pick 4 baskets of cocoa for the day work or 3. In yesterday, it was 7 and 9. It boiled down to about 3.
Yeah.
So if you're selling cocoa, and a basket of cocoa is about 75 pounds. So 3 baskets is about 225 pounds. And then you could calculate if you have to take 2 people to pick 3 baskets of cocoa, they must get 225.
Yeah.
And if they take 2 hours to do it, is all well and good. But if they take 7 hours to do it, you understand? So you must have discussion among the workers and the employer.
True.
Yeah.
That makes it. Most of the discussion within the worker and the employer.
Yeah.
I said both of them could understand the situation. I'm saying, Pierre, you speak about love, right? And you see, a lot of people speak love, but they demonstration. Love is an action word, right? And love is not something like you show love to one group of people or the other group of people that you show a different side, you show a different word towards them. Hate. When God says to love, or when man show love everyone. No matter the condition one are in, you have to reach out and love them. The smallest man, the man that you consider to be nothing, you have to reach out and love him. Love is not a word that you speak. Love is an action word. And many times a lot of people speak, they tell people they love them. They love them because they want to get something from them, and they say the person loves them. Love is not what you want to get from a man. Right? Love is something that you really and truly, you genuinely love the person for who they are, not what they are. And many times when people say they love Mr. Pierre, they don't really love you, but they love what they could get from you. Right? As God said in His word, I love the sinners, but I hate the things that the sinners did. And many times when you on program, we call and criticize government for what they're doing. We don't hate them. We don't hate government. We love people, but we hate the things that they're doing. And anyone that seeing a brother doing wrong things and tell him go ahead and do what they're doing, you don't love the person. When you love somebody, you will try to correct them and tell what they do is wrong, not to do it. Not to do it. I suppose that's my...
Yes, thank you. So you have to have discussion on what is love. When a man has a relationship with a woman, he is expected to provide for her. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
In the agriculture area, right?
Yeah.
Now you have nutmeg and cocoa in agriculture bringing in foreign exchange. Well, we had a source up that was supposed to bring in some too, but source up is limping heavily on one side and scarcely bringing in anything in terms of foreign exchange. Now, when you tell me I have to pay somebody $60 per day to collect nutmegs, right? And that person goes out and is trying his best to collect as much nutmeg for me, or let's say to make the day. All right. You say how much? 5 hours a day. Yeah. And that person is trying hard to make the 5 hours for the day. But after you'd have collected nutmeg, whatever you would have gotten, I have to go sell that. But the money that I get is scarcely able to pay him. And this is the question here, sir. How do we reconcile with that? Because the production from the field is unable to pay for the labor. And I think that's one of the reasons why the government have it so easy nowadays to pay those poor people. They would have taken away $150 from them up front straight away and take it away. So you don't have to give them that. And you single them out. We're gonna pay. Are we gonna keep on 75 of them or 500 of them? And we calculated the 500 of them will bring us 500 by 150. In other words, this is how they work out, right? So in my field now, I have to pay laborers, and I realize the amount of hours they will spend in the field, I will not make enough money to pay them, so I have to fire them. And now you set the country in a kind of state where you have people that need work, there is work, and they cannot get employment because the employer doesn't have the money to pay them. It's like me, one day I went to sell nutmeg and I parked up a vehicle in an area right in front of the pool in Grenville. And when I came back, I saw a ticket on the vehicle. And I asked, how come? There was no parking sign here, so how come? And I started inquiring. I went to the police station and inquired about it. And they tell me, well, something. I said, look, the nutmeg that I sold can't even pay the ticket. So what's going to happen? And then later on, they cancel the ticket.
So you was very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. But the fact is that the nutmeg couldn't pay the ticket.
Well, you think people
Right?
will pick up about 40 pounds of nutmeg for you for your day work now?
Well, it depends, but scarcely, because nutmeg doesn't produce as much as they used to produce before. You must know that.
So then you have to
nutmegs
pick up
are not-
only when the nutmeg producing?
Well, that's it. And
Because
then the rest will
sometimes
grow on the ground.
nutmeg is $3.50 a pound now.
3 alone.
$3, they drop it.
No, that's what it has been for quite a while now.
So the 40 pound of nutmeg is $1.20.
Yes.
And so
you- you-
and you
you're
pay
sca-
$60 for it.
Yeah.
But would the
$60
person that pick
for
up the
one
nutmeg
person.
take out the maize?
And no,
Or you have to
that
pay
is only to collect
separate?
the
to take-
nutmegs.
Huh?
Or you do it yourself, which will
Well, if you do it for
Insure a
yourself,
cost
thank
on that
God. We're talking about you have to pay a worker to do it.
yes.
Would you get
So
would a worker
the-
pick
the-
up
the-
40 pounds of nutmeg for the day work? 40 pounds of nutmeg and take out the maize.
No, because again, you talk about time now. You talk about the time.
Well,
What
you the
amount of
farmer
hours
have
they're supposed
to. That's why I say you have to have a lot of communication with these workers. You know, you can't bother.
But then if you watch, the government say if you don't do it, they're gonna put you in court and they're gonna charge you so much
Well, yes. So
if you didn't pay
when
minimum
you-
wage.
no
You talk about
worker.
minimum wage, you know. You're talking minimum wage here. If you didn't pay the minimum wage, they're gonna put you in court, and they might end up jailing you too because you didn't pay the
Well,
minimum
once
wage.
they put you to court, it's not them that jailing you; it's the court, and the court will try the case and see if there is merit in it.
Yeah, but the government tell them to charge you, to jail you.
Because a worker could
If
stay
you don't pay.
a worker could stay 5 hours in your land, and they only pick up 20 pounds of nutmeg.
Definitely.
So you have to
But you have to
determine if instead
Whether they're
of
gonna keep them or not.
you might have to determine go and pick up my nutmeg, but I give you a job. So I'll pay you $60 if you pick up 40 pounds of nutmeg. So in that way, you don't break the government agreement because that is a
Right.
piecework, a job.
Right.
So you might have
Yes.
to, the farmer might have to determine how much pounds of nutmeg. And then you have to pick up the nutmeg and take out the maize.
Yes.
So you see,
There's
there have to be a lot of communication. So we must be open-minded and give it a chance to work and be cooperative and try. We can't just
Of course,
blanketly
yes.
say it is counterproductive.
We must be practical also.
Yeah.
We must be practical because we go do it ourselves and we know the time it takes us to collect the nutmegs, that amount of nutmeg.
Yes, you got to
Okay?
work with them. Yeah.
Right. So if we tried ourselves, we could see the amount of time it takes us to collect the nutmegs. We see the time it takes us to mace the nutmeg and then to clean the mace and everything like that. And you see the amount of hours it takes.
In yesteryear,
And whatever hour you take,
this statistics is ready because in yesteryear they had to go and pick up a basket of nutmeg, and a basket of nutmeg would be about 60-something pounds. But now, nobody won't pick up all this nutmeg for you. So they might pick up about
Correct.
40 pounds. But if you could get somebody to pick up 40 pounds of nutmeg for you and take out the maize, then it's beneficial for you to pay it. Because you're going to get something for yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at the area where let's look at another area where the nutmeg is failing. The crop is failing. You can't do it for yourself. Okay? Okay, like me right now. I'm laid off. I can't go in the land at all, right? So I'm supposed to be paying somebody too. And you think I'm so crazy to do something like that? I can't do that. I have to wait until I'm able to do it.
Well, what you could
Because-
do is, some people say, one man said the man has picked up the nutmeg and he gave him half. You have to
But
find
I
all
looking
such
at-
arrangement. If it's
I'm looking at
only
the
one
area.
worker you have, you have to try to find arrangement to survive.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. you have to
I'm
find
looking at the area too. Those crops are bringing in foreign exchange. Okay? The government isn't doing it for themselves, and they ask you to do it. And those people that were supposed to be benefiting from it, those folks that work a long time, or parents that work in the field, a basket of cocoa on their head, the ladies, a basket of cocoa on their head, and maybe a baby tied on their back or on their belly. Those people nowadays, you're telling them they can't get that money that is hands out. So you take away $150 from them. Are you crazy? You take away $150 because those ladies used to be having a baby on their back, and a bucket of cocoa on their head. A basket of cocoa on their head.
And the
with cocoa
basket
juice
was
running down.
75 pounds. Eric Gary.
And the cocoa juice running down.
Yeah.
Cocoa juice running down on them.
I
And
see.
today you're telling them that is hands out. They can't get that.
But
Are you mad? Thank you, sir.
yeah. And this is all about the growing insensitivity in our country. There's a growing level of insensitivity in our country. We have a government that the policy is hostile towards people in the lower income group. And there is growing insensitivity to the elders generally. It appears that the elderly who in the departure lounge, they want to speed up the process. And that's why I express concern. Why this vagrants in our community? Are we as a people getting cold and insensitive and don't care? Are we trampling on the weak and the marginalized? We are predominantly a Christian society where Christ asks us in particular to look at the widows and the orphans. Well, today widows might be to the extreme as yesteryear, but widows was treated very badly yesteryear. Orphans, and it wasn't only in our neck of the woods. That's why I ask people to research the boys of Afghanistan or the dancing boys of Afghanistan. Take your phone, ask your children in primary school to Google the dancing boys of Afghanistan or the boys of Afghanistan. You're going to see the trials and tribulation that some people have had over the years. Our politicians, from Gary upwards, have done a lot of work to help to make the life of the less fortunate better. And that's why I'm extremely concerned about the callousness, the hostility of this present government towards the people in the lower income group and the elderly people. The NDC have a history every time they come in power of that showing this level of insensitivity to the elderly. This time is worse. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm back here again.
Yes, go right
And
ahead.
so we're supposed to be promoting agriculture. In fact, recently we had a spice planting program. Yeah. And so we planted a lot of spice trees all over the place. Yeah. And so somebody tell me, we're supposed to be encouraging the children to go into agriculture. We're supposed to be encouraging the children to go in agriculture by teaching them. This is how you treat old people after they work hard in agriculture. This is how we treat them, and this is how we live magnificently. Going into politics for the first time, those big dogs, those commoners, yes, those big dogs and those commoners, see how they're living happy. And you're telling me to send my children to learn to do agriculture? Are you crazy again? Why should I send my children to do agriculture when your children living like those important people and my children living as big dogs and or not my children but me living as big dogs and commoners? How you expect me to be sending my children to do that? Are you mad? What's going on here? You don't care about me and my children. You tell me my children shouldn't go to school. In fact, that benefit you give that my children also get to go to school, that stipend to go to school, you take it off and you laugh. Gigi. We give them free tuition. We give them free tuition, so we laughing gigi, and they don't have no money to pay the school. They don't even have money to buy food to go to school. You laughing gigi. I don't know. Somebody must explain that to me now. This is a new year now. Last year you say whatever, but it's a new year now. Show me the benefit of me sending my children to do agriculture. When your children go to secondary school, I pay for them all the way, university, and then you come back and call in my children commoners and big dogs. When they come and listen, you speak to them. What kind of thing is that? Thank you, sir.
Yes, scholar. And on each, I'd say to parents, particularly people in the lower income group, encourage your child to do mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, English language, French and Spanish, and music. Don't waste time with history and agriculture and all this nonsense. All this economics and how can they do this, you should do money management. It's good, agriculture is good. And you have a lot of people that did agriculture and make a lot of money and did well. So if your child wants to do agriculture, you don't have to go and study agriculture in school to start to do that. They have to want to make money. And if you do mathematics and biology and chemistry and physics, French and Spanish, English language and music, you have the basic requirement to take off in any direction. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Sir Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, my brother.
You had a good Christmas time here?
Of course, man. Christmas was really good for me.
Mr. Pierre, I find it rather strange in this country. I hope people want the government to send it, buy books for the children, pay bus for them, free tuition fee, buy books for them, tablets, everything. And what you want the parents to do, what the parents should do, well, the government on. Government have to give them clothes to go to school, books to go to school, bus fee to go to school, tuition fee. What the parents doing? What the parents doing, Mr. Pierre? Can you please answer this question? So the government children to my children?
I'm going to tell you
That's
what
the parents' children. That's the parents' problem. There ain't supposed to be no government problem, taxpayers problem. Mr. Pierre, what's going on in this country? You want the government to do everything? Only thing the government will do is to make the children? Well, I don't understand what's going on in this country. Are you really this is a disgrace to these people? Yes, and are you supporting this kind of nonsense? Parents are responsible to take care of children from the womb to the school. Well, come and tell me about
Caller,
government have to do that. Government have to do that.
Caller,
Yes.
you want me answer you?
Go ahead and answer me, man.
All right. Thank you, caller. I'll answer you. The caller asked what the parents did. The parents selected the government. When the government was campaigning for election, they made promises to the people. And as a result of the promises they made, the people selected the government in power. The people in the lower income group are the ones, the majority of group that the government went to sell the program. The people accepted the program that the government have. And the people selected the government. So now the people want their vote. So if the government remove assistance from people who did not have money for transportation to go to school, shouldn't these people be concerned? They say, I voted you in power, but you're taking benefits away from me. When you promise to give me more benefits, color is as simple like that. The politician went to the people. They say, if you select me in power, I'm going to make life easier for you. I'm going to make it easier for your children to go to school. And some of the people's problem is they did not have bus fare. Some of the children cannot go to school because they cannot meet this bill. So the government said, no child in Grenada, no human being in Grenada should be able to say that my child cannot go to school because they don't have the basic requirements. The previous government said those who could pay should pay. But those who can't pay, we're going to make sure that we're going to provide support system for your child to go to National College, for your child to go to NUDO, and for your child to go in SGU. So if when a new government come in power, they disadvantage these people, color, they have a right to talk. They have a right to shout. They have all right to hold the government responsible for making their lives miserable. Color, the people who are on the seed program receiving assistance in transportation, the government removed the assistance from them. And the government claimed we have done a wonderful work. Every child in Grenada now don't have to pay tuition. But the children whose parents could not have paid, the government was paying for them. And the children who did not have problem in paying, their parents could have paid. The government decided to pay for them at the expense of removing money from the children who couldn't pay. Color, you have to understand that in that perspective. So let me give you a closer example. Miss Mary have 5 daughters going to school. 5 daughters going to school. But Miss Mary don't work in. She have 5 daughters to school. She have them boys and them too. But she don't work in. But the daughter is bright. The boys don't. And the daughters in secondary school and national college. And the government change. And Miss Mary decide now she cannot send the children to school every week. because she don't have money to pay the bus fare. Caller, that is the situation. Now, before, Miss Mary never used to pay tuition. The government used to pay tuition for Miss Mary 5 nice-looking daughters. Miss Mary looking good too. No color. Miss Mary in trouble. And she daughters looking good. So she have to try to demele and say to get money to help her daughters to go to school. She say hell was them boys. She ain't bothering with them boys. 2 of she boys drop out from school already. But she fighting to get your daughters to go to school. So a new government come and Miss Mary Collar is disadvantaged. You have to understand that. I know what the government do, you know. What the government do is to trick Grenadians. They claim that we're paying tuition for everybody. And that is the best thing that happened since 1983. But they never claimed, they never said, as a result of paying tuition for everybody, we had to remove money from those people we were paying transport for. The Minister of Education screwed Miss Mary's daughter. He literally screwed them. Because now Miss Mary become more vulnerable. You see, Miss Mary could get her money to pay the tuition. That is a one-off. She could dress up good and go down Friday night in party and wind down the whole place and impress a lot of men. And she could get money Tuesday to pay the tuition. But if Miss Mary had to whine every day to pay transport, what do you think will happen to Miss Mary? Huh? That is the issue, Caller. Caller, we have to practicalize this thing, you know. Caller, if you making plenty, if it's a lawyer, if it's a doctor, if it's a senior public officer, a teacher, a police, you're working in a senior department with Huggins, Hubbard, Coates, it go difficult for you to understand that. But if you is Miss Mary living in Ticola, and you don't walk in, then reality go come. When you watch your nice, hopeful daughter, she put you like guava. She look like a Volkswagen. And you realize the hope for that family is the education of that child. And she had to drop out of school because you didn't have the money to pay the transportation. And the government that day, Caller, you had to take the mirror, Caller. Put the mirror in front of your face. Ask the question. Look in your community. Find out who are the children that drop out from national college and not going in secondary school. They won't tell you why. Some people say don't interfere in their business, Caller. But the little girl used to go to school. You hear doesn't check on them boys. Because the society say hell was them boys. The Minister of Agriculture, he say lunatics and idiot. The government ministers describe them as classless, nasty people, and commoners. That is a challenge we have in our society. Now, individual people could say these things, but when a government, when these statements are coming from the top echelons of a political party, the government ministers, when the prime minister calling these people beggy, look at the prime minister's face. Look at the prime minister's face when he was referring to that. Use with last color, you got a punch. Go right ahead.
Happy New Year, Mr. Pierre.
Thank you, darling.
You enjoyed the holiday?
Yes, it was
All
good.
right, but anyway, it's too much children they're making, so that's why. Too much children. Where is the fathers? Too much children. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. I don't agree with you. I would create incentive in Grenada for women to make children. If I could have influenced politician, I would have created incentives for women to make children. The population of Grenada have not risen in any significant way in the last 100 years. Barbados was 200,000 when Belize and the Bahamas was 80,000. Now Barbados is about 260,000 and Belize and the Bahamas